I bought a house for 5,000 euros. This is the key to the cellar. It started 3 days ago when my friend told me he would sell me his cabin in the woods, but I didn't realize how deep in the woods it was. Nobody had been up here in years, and so the path had completely disappeared. I'm trying to create a path by just flattening down. It's up to my shoulders. I was convinced I would be able to find it, but we've been out here in the woods for 3 hours searching for it. I haven't lost hope. I immediately lost hope, so we came back the next day. We're back with the car. Oh gosh, just...
Why did I crash into this log?
You certain that this is the path? We decided to abandon the car, and after a few more hours on foot, we found it. Yeah, you can barely see the tiles. But we're on the wrong side. How do we get there? More hours cutting through the woods with a stick. Here it is. Watch out. It was completely overgrown. These thorns everywhere. We definitely should have brought some proper tools to cut through these vines, but we figured it out. Check this out. I've cleared. Here, look at the view. After clearing the path enough, we finally got our first look inside. Spider webs everywhere. Whoa! This is where the other door goes. It's not so bad. I'm not sure how I feel about this blue. A stove. Whoa! Look at the light.
Probably 12 volts.
We got a boombox. We got a jezva. We got some wine glasses. We have no idea what's up there. Look at that. The chimney. A little window.
Underneath is a cellar in which I haven't been, like, ever.
The cellar was definitely what made me the most curious. Candles, a hat, not a very pleasant smell, I'm not gonna lie. This tiny little L-shaped room. An American classic with President Nitschke Lazi. This place has no water, no electricity, and I'm gonna live here this summer. Okay, there's a few problems. It's in the middle of the woods, and there's no path to reach it. Yeah, you can barely see the tiles. But we're on the wrong side. How do we get there? Though it took multiple days to locate and reach the house, I was determined to clear a path. The next day, when I was up working alone, some neighbors who had seen my videos offered to help. They brought the tractor out and started clearing the path deep into the woods. Next thing I know, the whole family was involved. Chainsaws, hooks, axes. It was amazing and exhausting. I cannot express enough how much of a blessing it was that this family came out to help me. There's no way I could have done it on my own. Now the path is clear and safe. Look at the way this looked before and now. Listen, we're far from finished, but I'm amazed. You can freaking see it. You can see the house. Now I had to tackle the inside. Spider webs, dead things, horrible smells, everything had to go. I didn't want to risk any bacteria or animals living in this old furniture, so I just pushed it off the balcony. Some pieces were easier than others, but I got it. My new neighbors helped me get the big stuff down the mountain. I offered to pay them for their time, but they wouldn't accept any money. That's Balkan hospitality. They even hiked all the way up the mountain to give me some soup while I was editing this video. I swept up, got rid of the spiders, disinfected everything, and now, my room. Just a simple camping bed and a sleeping bag. The sun is down, and it is time to spend the first night in the new house. Wish me luck. Sure, it took me days to even find it deep in the woods. It's up to my shoulders. And even more time to clear the path so it was safe to reach. But now, look at the way it was before and after. You can freaking see it. You can see the house. Despite still not having water or electricity, I decided to move in. It is time to spend the first night. Wish me luck. The first night went well. I think there's something out there. Anyway, I couldn't find the source of the noise, but I woke up the next day ready for work. My back hurts. I decided it would be best to replace the old locks. Yep, that works. Next it was power. My neighbors at the bottom of the mountain had some ideas, so we went up and tried to install it. That'll do it. We have power. Next, I was burning to death, but if I open a window, bugs get in. I got some tools from my first aid kit and started cutting up a net. Unfortunately, it didn't come with a hammer, but I got it. Next, there were 2 big holes in my basement. I think that's how our little friend here got in, so I decided that I would fill those with some expanding foam. This is just a temporary fix. Now for water. At the bottom of the hill, there's a well, so I decided to take advantage and do some laundry. Is this a reasonable or efficient way to do your laundry? I guess I don't know. Ask your grandma. How did she do it? I hiked all the way up the hill with my wet clothes, and I built a solar-powered clothes drying device. That should hold it. Looking absolutely beautiful. That is how you do it. Sure, walking up and down this hill every day isn't easy, and I wouldn't call one LED light luxury, but I guess my number one concern is just to see if I can make it through another night. I mean, it was buried deep in the woods, and we had to spend days uncovering it, but now you can see it clear as day. I decided the upstairs would be my room, so I cleared it of all of its infested furniture and built myself a little campsite. The first night was fine, but now it's time for night 2. Hopefully, it'll be better tonight. I swear there's something out there. I keep hearing it walking around in the brush. I'm gonna go investigate. Flip my little light switch here. Lights on. Hello? Okay, you can be my neighbor. There's nothing going on behind those eyes. He's my friend. Don't make too much noise, okay? The next morning, I got right to work. I thought this cabinet could be used to store my clothes, but it just wasn't very stable. So it looks like I'll keep storing those in my suitcase. I put this stove outside because I thought it was infested with spiders, but it was worse. Yep, there's the former occupant. Found him. I cleaned it up really nice and put it back inside. Next, I decided to clean the entire ground floor. It wasn't covered in vines anymore, but it was bad. What even is this? Nice. I decided I would keep this one. He looks polite. The day was brutally hot, and thankfully my neighbors came up to say hello. It's the first car that actually made it up. I gotta get me one of these. I can't believe this thing actually drives. Balkan people are a different breed. It's back to work. I'm just trying to remove everything from the living space, and I will clean it up later. Finally, it was time to face the cellar. I had been putting this off because I just didn't want to deal with the grossness, but now it was time. After the furniture, it was spiders, hundreds of them. I've never seen so many in my entire life. I'm not gonna show any more, you probably find that disturbing. Anyway, to remove the cobwebs, I swept the ceiling, I swept the walls, and then finally the floors. After hours of work, I kicked open those medieval-looking doors. Ha-ha! It's clean! And the concrete outside was looking much better. Now I just need to clean up the yard. I've got big plans for this place. This is all happening in real time. Nothing is off the table when it comes to this remodel. Okay, the inside was full of all this nasty carpet and furniture. It had to go immediately. So I threw everything out into the yard that I could. Though it took a few days to get this done, now I have my bedroom upstairs and a clear cellar downstairs. Now I just need to clean up the yard. So my neighbor down the hill offered his time and his tractor to help me clear everything out. This trail is still not fit for cars. Ouch. We started grabbing absolutely everything, and oh my gosh, it was disgusting. I was not sorry to see any of this stuff go. I found this old mattress buried behind the house, and it really gave me a fight. Surprisingly, on the way down, we didn't drop anything. The neighbor took me to his designated disposal place, and we started to dispose of it. This is extremely common in the region. We're far away from any residential area, and we've got water and fire extinguishers on standby. It was pretty interesting to watch, though. Everything that could burn did. I drove the tractor back up the mountain this time. It was fun. We grabbed the things that we weren't planning on burning or we just missed last time. This trail really needs to be cleared more. I was invited to a nice lunch, and then I went back up the hill to handle the backside of the house on my own. Ah! Oh, that's beautiful. There were so many vines that it was hiding this cast iron sink thing that I had to remove. Now I've got a clear yard and a clear conscience. It's time for the real remodel to begin. In honor of 1 million followers, I'm gonna answer some of your most asked questions. How have I even lived out here the last 5 days without any water or electricity? A lot of people don't know this about me, but I actually served in the US Army for 4 years. I got out about 2 years ago, and I moved to Europe. I've got tons of training on this kind of stuff. I get my water from this old well. The locals use it, and it's fairly close to my place. If I need to go to the bathroom, I dig a hole. Until I get a shower set up, I've been showering with wet wipes. I know it's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. For food, I've mostly been eating these little meals out of a tin. You can use the lid as a spoon if you're clever. I charge my phone using this solar panel and a little battery. I own the house and about 5,000 square meters that it sits on, but it's going to take a lot of work to get that cleared. It's in the Balkans. That's all the information about location I'll give you. If you want to see this turn into my dream house, you're in the right place. So just a few days ago, you couldn't even get in the front door, and I still have no water or electricity. There was one thing that bothered me since the beginning. I'm not sure how I feel about this blue.
Yeah, I had the same feeling.
So I bought some paint and carried it all the way up the trail to my house. This is ridiculous. I got to work right away. No need to tape anything off because the person who painted this before didn't do that either. How do you guys feel about the color? I wanted to go for something a little more modern. Homey. First wall finished. On to the next. Though I've done a lot of painting before, this took much longer than I suspected it would. I've still got tons of other work to do today. And voila, now all I need to do is fix up the window frames and get a tile floor in here. I didn't want to paint the basement because it's got this broken window that needs to be fixed first. So I took that out and got some measurements. I had to make a trip down to the well to fill back up on water. This next job is going to take a ridiculous amount of work. Do you see this guy? Basically, I can't use my yard because it's full of these invasive Japanese knotweeds. So they've got to go immediately, all of them. I came across this old photo while I was digging, and this old fence. It actually could give me a pretty good idea of what the original property lines were. Unfortunately, then I came across these old brick tiles from the roof. There was a lot of them. Oh my gosh. It's getting dark. I've still got really far to go. So I just put on my headlamp and kept on working. I'm glad I did. I came across some interesting wildlife. Look at this dude. Ay, ay, ay. Absolutely adorable. Look at this chonker. That has got to be the largest slug. That's a brick. Oh. Work was going smoothly until... It's about 1 a.m. And I'm tired, but I'm still not sleepy, so I'm just gonna... What is that? Holy smokes. Oh my god. Those are some shiny eyes. So I went to bed, and when I woke up in the morning, I had left quite a mess for myself. So the neighbor came back up with his tractor, and we loaded up everything that I had dug up. This man is a legend. There was a lot more than I thought there was. But now finally I can use my yard. This is the most visible the house has ever been. This is starting to get serious now. Massive improvements every episode. My house in the woods has 2 floors. The ground floor, which used to be the cellar, it's cleared. And then the top floor, which I just painted and will be my bedroom. But there's another floor I haven't really talked about. The attic. Today, I'm going to face it, head on. Oh. I'm actually gonna set foot up here. I can actually stand up straight. This could be an extra bedroom. The place was disgusting, worse than both other floors combined together. But there's potential here. It's official. This isn't just gonna be storage. This is gonna be a lot more than that. Then I discovered that the chimney here goes right into my room for little critters like this to get in. Bro. I saw that bushy tail for just a second before he went up into the attic. I don't know where he went. He's... That is adorable. I tried to feed him a cracker, but I couldn't reach. This is engineering. He just seems so polite.
It's smelling it. Oh, it's run away.
Try to leave it up there.
Nailed it. He did not accept my peace offering. He came from above. Why do you refuse our cracker? Anyway, I had to keep going, so I created a cover for the chimney to keep the pests out. That is a masterpiece. I also did the same on the inside. I'm not going to be using anything like this until the winter, so I don't feel bad about covering it at all. Then it was time to clean up, starting with the big stuff, piece by piece, throwing it all the way down.
Oh my god.
There's cars down there. I'll be more careful. I didn't hit it.
But what are you throwing?
Bricks. I tried to sweep up, but the broom just wasn't strong enough, so I switched to the shovel and started scooping and throwing it down. My friends who came to visit were not enjoying this, but they definitely were having a better time than I was. It was brutal and took what seemed like forever, but finally... Completely clear. No cobwebs. This was the hardest floor by far. But it feels good. Oh no. Thankfully, the day didn't end that way. Two strangers appeared out of the woods. This is the trail I built. They told me they were locals and remembered this place from when they were younger. Are you guys like immune to these stinging nettle things?
But we're used to it, sort of.
They invited me to a much-needed barbecue. I really enjoyed myself. But when the party is over, I have to face the mess. After making a massive mess cleaning out the attic, I was regretting my life's decisions when I heard a noise in the forest.
Hey, you see me? Hi!
It was two local teenagers. They knew this house was out here, but just weren't sure how to get here. They wanted to work, so why not? My next unexpected guest was a volunteer firefighter. He brought some tools to help me clear the forest around my house. Just to be clear, I don't know these people. They're just my neighbors from around the forest. They just wanted to come and volunteer to help. I didn't even ask. These vines had gotten so overgrown that some of them had gotten stuck in the roof. I wasn't sure how to get them down. It's clean up there.
It's clean.
Turns out one of the teenagers fixes roofs during the summer. He showed me how it works and invited me up. I honestly know nothing about clay tile roofs. This is how you do roofs in Europe?
Yes.
You just set the tiles down?
Yes.
You don't do anything to hold them? The view up here is absolutely amazing. With some help from the ground and above, we were able to clear the roof. This is a great way for teenagers to spend the summer, that's for sure. The weed whacker got caught up in this chain link fence. I'm still not sure exactly where it goes, but we had to cut it. So thankful for these guys. We made massive progress, but I had to move on to other tasks, like filling cracks in my door to keep the bugs out. It's not pretty, but it works. That evening, my other neighbor came up and cut off these hooks that were hanging from my ceiling so I could stand up straight in the cellar. He told me to come by in the morning for a surprise, so I did. Turns out the local fire chief heard I had no water and arranged for me to get this 1,000-liter tank brought up to my place. So I went back up the trail and started clearing a way for it. One of the teenage boys from the day before brought a different friend, and they wanted to help me clean. We got the space looking nice, but I knew we could take it further. They wanted to keep going, and so we did. We started hacking through the forest to make a complete 360 perimeter around the property. And man, it was hard work, but it's crazy how clear it is. When I went back down to get the water tank, there was another surprise. My neighbor fixed my window. We also ran to the store real quick to buy some tiles for the floor. Very soon, I'm gonna be a lot more comfortable. We started loading up the tiles one by one. Dang, bro, you strong. Set the water tank on top, and then started our way back up the trail. The first thing I did was install that new window. It's looking great. Perfect. This water tank is surprisingly light when it's empty. We moved it into a spot for it to stay for now. We unloaded the floor tiles, and tomorrow will be the day that we begin installing them. They loaded up some of the debris from the attic and then headed back down the trail. I love these guys, even though it might not look like home. It started early in the morning when I was awoken by a tractor outside my door. The man explained to me that he was the former owner of this place years ago, and he heard that I was out here and he wanted to get some firewood and help clear the path even more. It was amazing watching these two work. They really knew what they were doing. I had to go down the trail and into town on my own to get some supplies. When I came back hours later, they were still there working. When I got to the top, they gave me a ride back down the trail and told me they would come back early the next morning. Unfortunately, I still had to walk back up on foot with supplies. Then my neighbor called me about the water tank we brought up yesterday and said we should fill it, so down to the well we went, filling up barrels bucket by bucket, one at a time. We took the tractor back up the trail and moved the tank to a more secure spot. When we opened it, there was a surprise. Looks really good in there. Alright, we tried to clean it out using the tools we had on hand. Luckily, this broom was able to fit inside. I just started trying to scrub off all of the dirt. I was struggling to get it clean when I remembered what I brought up today. This is a battery-powered shower. Just put it in a bucket of water, turn it on, and there you go. Look at that, from that bucket to here. That is awesome. I was able to get the tank much cleaner. So we started pouring the water into it. First with buckets and then by the barrel. I haven't cleaned the tank enough for drinking, but this water can be used for loads of other things. Like this new toy I bought. Yes, if I want to do my business, I no longer have to dig a hole in the dirt. It's actually super easy to use. Whoa, whoa my God. Just fill it up with water, add one of these blue things, and pump it a few times, and you're ready to go. You just have to empty it every 5 days. On the way back down the trail, I was given more good news. The local fire chief wanted to let us borrow a generator so we could continue with the remodel. This is the one. We loaded up the generator on the back of the tractor, plus all of the other tools we needed, and headed back up the trail again. It's time to get this messy bedroom a tile floor. First, I needed to move all of my stuff out. I feel like I just got evicted. Now my room is ready for a new floor, and I will sleep in the cellar until it's done. Turns out my neighbor's son is a master at installing tiles and has been doing it for a living for 5 years. Now that he has all of the supplies he needs, he can get to work on making this room beautiful. This kind of work requires skill and precision. What would have taken me hours took him just a few minutes. And of course, he wouldn't let me pay him for his time, no matter how much I asked. Bruh. The walls weren't exactly straight. What was I doing while he was doing all of this hard work? I was carrying tiles up from the ground floor. These are really freaking heavy. If you want to see what the finished room looks like, you'll have to come back tomorrow. In the meantime, I decided I was going to take my first shower in almost 2 weeks. What the heck is it? It started when I was woken up this morning at 6 a.m. by the sound of a tractor. It was my neighbor and his son. As promised, they came back early in the morning to clear the woods behind my house. They made quick work of it. Then a journalist stopped by to take some photos and ask some questions. A friend of mine chopped down a few more trees. And now, I actually have a clear sight line of where the old vineyard was. So the original property line goes all the way back to here. Unfortunately, what that means is more trees. It was a long morning. I took a break and had some lunch when I was disturbed by the sound of some motorcycles. Local boys I'd never seen before in my life came up and wanted to work. I'm not sure how they found me. When trying to clean up next to my house, I came across this spot. It looked like some kind of rug. I've been digging on this thing for like forever. I am determined to dig this thing up. Little did I know this was going to consume the rest of my afternoon. What did you say it was? Pelinkovats. Turns out the previous owner just buried everything here. Cinder blocks on top of this thing.
Maybe it's a sign.
A sign of what?
I don't know.
Is it a cassette? You know what it is?
It's for music.
I'm gonna keep this and play it. What? It's like a whole garbage bag.
It's a cup.
Oh my gosh!
Friend.
It's a worm.
Yeah.
Very nice. Srp is what it's called?
Yeah.
Srp. At that moment, I heard a tractor coming up the path. Tile Maestore! My neighbor was back to finish the other half of my floor. We brought the generator out and got back to work. While he was doing all of that precise professional stuff, I was digging in a hole with the boys. Digging in the dirt is fun, that is a fact. We finally found the edge. This thing is freaking huge. This is classic previous owner stuff. You never have any idea what was going through their head when they did what they did. Why did they put all of this under the rug? Oh my gosh, it's full of garbage. It was fascinating and unnerving. What is hiding under here? We have no idea what we're gonna dig up. Whoa, a brick. What the heck is it? It's a cassette player. Look at that. What is that?
Garbage.
A garbage. Good point. Finally, after hours, we got the rug out. Look at this monstrosity. We started to clean up the debris as best we could. Think smarter, not harder. And I sent the boys home for the day. They did pretty good. I was just in time to see the final tile laid down. Now half the floor was dry and half the floor was not. And I wasn't able to close my front door. I came up with a quick solution for that though. This will have to do. Follow this page to see what happens next.